This is a 160 Q&A practice test. Plaintiff attorney, Mr. Charles, capital C-H-A-R-L-E-S. Defense attorney, Ms. MS period Clark, capital C-L-A-R-K. And we'll start with plaintiff attorney. Ready? Here we go. Good afternoon. Where are you employed? Appointed. Where are you employed? With the FBI office in Boston. Are you an FBI special agent? Yes. How long have you been an agent? Approximately 10 years. What different? Have you worked in different field offices? Yes. I worked in the Newark FBI office. I've also worked out of our headquarters components. Back in April of 2013, were you assigned to the Boston Field Division? Yes. As part of your roles as an agent, did you participate in the Boston Marathon investigation? Yes, I did. In fact, after the Boston Marathon explosions that occurred, was the entire field office mobilized to respond? Yes, it was. In the days after the Boston Marathon bombing, was a command post set up at the Boston field office headquarters? Yes. Can you describe generally what the atmosphere was there? Basically, we had a lot of government agencies from across the state and region that were centered on the 8th floor and tried to coordinate the effort as far as the investigative effort in reaction to the bombings. Now, after the suspects were identified, yes, were there internet searches to determine whether those individuals had any social media accounts? Yes, there was. Were certain social media accounts actually identified? Yes, there was. Was there particularly a Twitter account that was associated with JSAR? Yes, there was. How did you discover that? That was discovered in the morning hours after reviewing essentially open source media and also receiving tips from the public. At some point later, was there another Twitter account associated with the defendant? Yes, there was. How did you find that? That was basically found. Essentially, it was connected to that account from, they basically were linked together because they were essentially following each other, is the best way to explain it. Now, as part of your role in the investigation, at some point later, did you apply for search warrants? Yes, I did. And part of some of those search warrants, were there dozens of search warrants that you applied for various different things? Yes. Were some of the search warrants for these Twitter accounts? Yes. Did the FBI receive results of those search warrants? Yes, they did. Are Twitter accounts available for the public to view without a search warrant? Yes, in most cases, yes. Can you just explain for the jury, for those who don't have their own Twitter account, just how Twitter works a little bit? Twitter is basically a public messaging system where someone creates an account with a username and a display profile, and they can post information to the internet and share that information with other like-minded users who want to share that information. I'm going to ask Mr. Broomer to pull up, just for the witness and the court, exhibit 1274 and 1264. I'd move 1264 and 1274 into evidence. Any objection? No objection. Okay. Could we just publish, please, Your Honor? Agent Kimball, after you receive the response from Twitter with regards to the contents of each of these accounts, can you compare them with the data that had been collected through just publicly browsing to those two Twitter accounts? Yes. And did they compare favorably? Yes, they did. Now this exhibit, so this exhibit 1264, is this the subscriber information for the account? Yes, it is. Does it list the name of the person who opened this account? Not here. So how do you know who that person is based on this information. That was through subscriber information of the Gmail that is listed there. So there's an email address associated with the Twitter account. Yes, that's this email address here. I just circled yes. Subsequently, did you obtain? Actually, did you separately obtain from Gmail, which is the Google's email service, the subscriber information to that account? Yes. Was that in fact subscribed to JSAR? Yes, it came back to the defendant, and the date that this account was created is that listed here that I just underlined in red. Yes. That's March 11, 2013. Yes. Do you know what this means? That is the creation IP. Do you know in layman's terms what an IP is? Internet protocol. Essentially, it's the address on the internet where that was created. Are you familiar with where this internet protocol address resolves to? Yes, it resolves back to the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. Back to 1274. Is this also the subscriber information that Twitter provided with regards to the Twitter account? Yes, it is. And is this the email address associated with the account? Yes. And did you also apply for a search warrant for, did someone apply for a search warrant for the contents of that account? Yes, they did. And did that account also come back to JSAR? It did. It came back to the defendant. And this IP address, are you familiar with that? Yes, I am. Where did that resolve to? That also resolves back to the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. And this account was created back in 2011. Is that fair to say? Yes, it was. All right, so I'm going to ask you now to go through some of the tweets or the posts on this account that were observed after the bombing. Do you know approximately how many tweets there were on that account? There were approximately 1,100. We don't have all 1,100 today, right? No. There are just a select few that we selected. Yes. Can we call up exhibit 1320? 1320, please. Yes, I'm sorry, 1313. We'll start. Now, is this one of the tweets that was extracted from the publicly available Twitter account? Yes, it was. Was this tweet also within the contents of the search warrant we were talking about? Yes, it was. Was that true for all of the tweets that we've looked at that you're going to present to the jury? Yes, it is. And so is it fair to say that exhibits 1275 through 1320 are all fair and accurate renditions of the tweets posted on the accounts? Yes, they are. I move into evidence exhibits 1275 through 1320. All right, the word list. Boston Field Division. So capital B on Boston, capital F on Field, capital D on Division. Boston Field Division. FBI is all caps, no periods, no spaces. FBI. Newark, capital Newark. Boston Marathon, capital BOSTON, and capital M on Marathon. Boston Marathon. Twitter, capital TWITTER. JSAR, capital JAY, new word, capital TSAR. Broomer, capital BRUEMMER. Agent Kimball, capital A on agent. Kimball, capital KIMBALL. Google, capital GOOGLE. Internet Protocol, capital INTERNET. New word, capital PROTOCOL. IP is all caps, no periods, no spaces. IP. University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, capital U on University, small o, F, capital M on Massachusetts. And Dartmouth is capital DARTMOUTH. And that's it for the word list, and that will conclude our 160 Q&A practice test.